Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. If you roll Tide, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate you guys watching this video. Today is Tuesday, August 13th. This is a fall camp recap from today's action. Now, we started out earlier today talking about the fact that there were 4 running backs that are banged up after Alabama's scrimmage. Now, remember, Alabama had a hard-hitting scrimmage that was on Saturday. And on Sunday, you had an open practice. They probably went 80%, gave the fans kind of something to watch on, and then after, players are down on the field for autographs. But this was notable. So you have Jam Miller in a black jersey, you have Richard Young in a black jersey, and you have Kevin Riley also in a black jersey. Now, each of those running backs did participate in drills. It was Kevin Riley that, we didn't know about, that he had the black jersey on, and then Daniel Hill has the sling on. Now, we haven't had an official update regarding his status, and we'll hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer later on in this week, and if we get an update before that, we'll bring you that right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Now, Justice Haynes is the only running back that is 100%. Now, I don't think Jam Miller, Richard Young, or Kevin Riley, I don't think any of those injuries is anything to be concerned about. In fact, they're going through the drills just in a black jersey. I mean, the quarterbacks are in a black jersey every single practice. You get what I'm saying? Justice Haynes, he had a really good productive scrimmage. He had a nice, it was a 20-yard run plus run in the scrimmage that people were talking about. And then Jam Miller, of course, caught the touchdown. In this particular video tonight, you're going to get fall camp highlights from Tuesday's practice. You're also going to get an interview from Coach Kane Wommack and Deonte Lawson. Deonte Lawson is the quarterback of the defense. So 2 really good interviews coming up right after this short segment by myself. And I thought it was interesting what Coach Kane Wommack had to say about LT Overton, a guy who's been doing a really good job for Alabama. Remember, he's a transfer from Texas A&M, a little bit sick in the beginning of the year. But, I mean, he had a really good scrimmage from what I hear. And the coaches are really excited. In fact, Coach Kane Wommack refers to him as a 280-pound ass kicker. Also has a really good soundbite on freshman Jalen Mbakwe and saying that Jalen Mbakwe is really finding himself. And that's good to hear for a freshman. I mean, think about where these freshmen are. Usually, they might be in the 3 deep. Now, I mean, and especially in the secondary, like these guys are going to absolutely play. Kane Wommack says that he's going to be in the rotation. That interview's coming up here in just a minute. And then you have Deonte Lawson talking about the freedom of playing in this new defense under Kane Wommack and the freedom that it gives the inside linebackers. And he also has a really good soundbite talking about Ryan Williams, the true freshman on the offensive side of the ball. So really good stuff coming up right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys could take a minute to hit the thumbs up and think about becoming a fan funder. If you like the coverage, if you like the packaging of this material of your beloved Crimson Tide, you can sign up for $2.99 to support the product. I appreciate you guys. Let's get to the practice footage from Tuesday, August 13th, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hey, what's going on? You're watching practice highlights from August 13th. This is from Tuesday. Looking at the tight ends right now. Number 81, that is C.J. Dupree. Number 45 at 270 pounds. It's quite impressive. You got Robbie Oots. Number 89, that is Ty Lockwood. You're going to see him a few times in this video. You got Jalen Miller right here making the throw to freshman Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams caught that touchdown in the scrimmage. This is Ty Simpson hooking up with a tight end Robbie Oots once again. This is 13 quarterback Austin Mack at 6'6", throwing a nice pass right there to number 80, Josh Cuevas. Hear that Josh Cuevas is doing a really good job. His stock on the rise, certainly. Caught a touchdown as well. Number 87 is Danny Lewis. This is Jalen Milroe getting the ball outside to Emmanuel Henderson. Henderson changed his number to number 3 this year. You got Ty Simpson looking across the middle of the field, hooking up with Ty Lockwood. Once again, number 89. Austin Mack back to pass, finding another tight end. Number 88 this time, that is Jay Lindsey at 6'5", 255 pounds. Nice ball right there, a nice one-handed grab by Danny Lewis. I think people forget that Danny Lewis is 6'5", 257 pounds. I think stock up for the tight end room overall. I've been really surprised with what I've seen from these guys. 89 again, Ty Lockwood. Number 81, C.J. Dupree, very athletic type tight end. 82 right there. That's another wide receiver. I think that's a walk-on, actually. And then 89, that is Ty Lockwood once again. So a like I said, you know, I'm been pleasantly surprised with the tight end room. I was going to talk about that earlier on the show, just talking about the tight end room in general, because I think, you know, a lot of question marks about the tight end room, just because, you know, you lose a guy like Amari Knobloch. Not to say that he was going to be the guy, but, you know, in my opinion, I don't think they have a overall dynamic type tight end. But, you know, look at the tight ends right here. Pretty good, pretty athletic. Robbie Oots right here. Use it. How are you going to use Robbie Oots? That's what I'm curious about. You know, hard to keep a guy like that off the field, especially in like a goal line situation. First, remember when they got the football to him back in that Kansas State game a couple years ago in the bowl game. Malachi Moore, kind of referred to as the leader of the defensive secondary. That was Deonte Lawson talking about that earlier today. Number 9, that is Jalen Mbakwe, and really good soundbite regarding Jalen Mbakwe and just kind of how he's continued to emerge as a player. His Deshaun Jones, a lot of athleticism. He's the transfer in from Wake Forest. Yeah, Damani Jackson, number 1 right here. Very, very talented. I think he has a really high ceiling. I think NFL scouts are curious to see what he can do, you know, right? In the SEC, number 25, that is Jaleel Hurley. Some good action. Finally got some footage of him. And Deonte Lawson, you're going to watch a video of Deonte Lawson talking about, you know, this defense and being allowed to be free and playing in this new system under Kane Wommack. He said this is a defense that's really built for these inside linebackers. Number 40 right here, that is Sterling Dixon, who's just a freshman at 6'3", 212 pounds. Number 41, that is Justin Okoronkwo. You'll hear him referred to as J.O. by Deonte Lawson. Deonte Lawson right here, number 0. I think he's going to have an amazing season. I mean, he's up for the Dick Butkus Award in the preseason. Same with Jahad Campbell. Number 15, that is Justin Jefferson, who they refer to as JJ. Really talented. I mean, the inside linebacker room, like they are so talented. It's just quite impressive. Number 36, that was QB Reese, in case you missed it. That is number 34. That is Q Rob. And number 19, this is Keanu Cole. I mean, it's like this wolf position that Alabama has is just, it's so talented. I mean, this guy right here, Quay Russo, be a starter anywhere else. Not to say he's not a starter here. It's just, you know, they got guys they're going to be able to rotate. Number 23, that is James Smith. Looks really good. Number 10 is Jaheim Otis. Number 92, that is Jeremiah Beeman. Number 90 is Jordan Renard. 2 of the guys that we don't really talk about. Good footwork right there from Keon Keeley, number 31. Here's a look at the you know, defensive linemen who I think are just, whether you're a bandit, you know, that wolf position coming down. I mean, these guys are so talented. Number 50 is Tim Smith, as you know, 6'4", 314 pounds. Freddie Roach must be, you know, super elated to work with these guys. Number 88, that's Isaiah Fega. It's just, you need all these guys. We talked about the small video today about the running backs being a little bit banged up, which isn't a big deal. The point is depth. Man, Tim Smith looks good. 23, getting some good reps right there. That is James Smith, who looks ultra talented. And how about a big year for you know, Jaheim Otis, right? Can't wait to see what he can do out in the field. So yeah, let's kind of look at Alabama's you know, overall defense. Let me know what you think inside the comment box. Up next, you got Kane Wommack, who has some really good sound bites, talking about LT Overton, who's done a really good job for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Referred to him as an ass kicker at 288 pounds. And then you have a really good soundbite on Jalen Mbakwe. And then you have, following Kane Wommack, you have Deonte Lawson talking about his defense. Also has a really good soundbite on Ryan Williams. And those interviews are up next right here on Alabama Football Fall Camp coverage from Tuesday, August 13th. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube.
You know, I thought early on, the offense did a really good job. You know, we've challenged our guys to be able to respond early in games. That's hard for a defense because when you think about it, an offense is working all week long, right? They've got a game plan. They've got, you know, whatever they want to call it. Usually people call it their openers or their starters, right? And so they've got, you know, their first 8 to 10 plays of the game that they really feel good about and honed in on. The challenge for a defense, but also an opportunity, is if we can limit them in the first drive of the game, right, it creates a little bit of doubt in their mind, the things that they've been working all week long. But I thought our offense did a really good job in that. I thought our defense responded immediately after. Thought our tackling was just okay. We're running to the ball probably as good as I've seen since we've been here. But I think overall, from a tackling standpoint, those are things that you got to get better at from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2.
your defense. Do you find your defense is something they can pick up pretty quick, or does it take a few years? Like, how do you kind of assess whether it be here or other places you've been?
I think we're really intentional about having a short-term development plan to get young players on the field. We've always done that in this system. We've always been able to play freshmen because of that. Certainly, we're a complicated defense. We do. You look at the top 3 coverages in the NFL. The last season it's our number 1, 2, and 3 coverage, right, that we're running here now. So there's some details, right, that are challenging for young players, right, to come in and learn. But we feel like we have created a system that is simple enough for a young man to learn, and then detailed enough really for the nuances as you go, right? There are certain things that maybe an older corner may understand, but it's more about offensive recognition or recognizing a split or a concept that we really spend most of our time on offensive recognition. So the way we install the defense is, we teach them the concept of what we do, never just the role, right? Never just here's what the field corner has or here's what the Mike backer has. Then we talk about situational application. How's it applied to third down, red zone, 2-minute when they need a field goal versus 2-minute when they need a touchdown, right? Totally different scenarios, and the concepts are applied differently. And then what we're getting ready to go into is straight offensive recognition. So by the time we get to the season, it's all about when the offense comes out in a 3-by-1 and the back set out a little bit wider versus tighter, you're either going to get this or this, so that we can play, really with anticipation as opposed to reaction. Defense is inherently reactionary, so we're trying to play with anticipation.
How did it go? LT Overton such a dangerous pass rushing option?
Well, LT has a great skill set. You can tell he has honed in his pass rush ability. He's got really good complementary answers to his fastball. He's a great speed to power rusher, but he's done it probably 1,000,000 times over his life, right? And he can feel, whether the offensive lineman is on his top hip or his bottom hip, and know how to counter back inside or outside. So he's a really great on-body rusher, is what I would say, right? So that when he gets in to the man, he knows how to counter back very quickly. And he's 280 pounds, right? So, and can move his feet. So those things are really challenging for an offensive lineman to deal with.
Do you think he's perfectly built for your bandit position? And when you got here, that's something you saw? It's just wow, this guy's.
I think him and Zebo Latham are really the frame, right? That's the ideal. That person has to play a 4-eye. They have to play a 5 technique. They got to play a 9 technique, right? Occasionally, right, they'll fall back inside on the run fit, some of those things, right? They can do a lot of different things. But I'm impressed with their athleticism. I mean, those guys, they can really move. They do a good job to be that big. So yeah, I would say from a prototype bandit position, the field defensive end, that makes things really challenging to establish runs to the field when you have a 280-pound ass kicker over there. So.
How did the technology piece of things go during the scrimmage, and with the
Yeah.
headset communication? Do you see that as a benefit to the offense or the defense?
That's a great question. I think time will tell. We're different. The NFL, right? They have pictures, so they have a picture. 4 seconds before the snap, 4 seconds after the snap, right? In high school, they've got big home screen entertainment systems, right, that they work on, right? And so then we have the iPads, right, and all those things. I think what it will do is it will confirm, right, from a defensive perspective, hey, did the ball hit in the B gap here? Did it fold outside, our defensive end, or did it go inside here? What route concept did they run? Okay, this was a number 2 receiver on an over route, right? Those are the things that you can just confirm immediately and get corrected. So in that regard, right, you never have those moments where you go, hey, on Saturday night after watching the game, right, that, oh, that's what they were doing. Good coaches, right, you try to minimize that, right? You try to be a human iPad, right, so that you can see things in real time and make adjustments, and we've taken great pride in doing that. So, I wonder if it will be an equalizer to coaches that can't see in real time quite as well. But at the same time, right, it's certainly going to be something that we're going to utilize as best we can.
Earlier on in camp, you mentioned how impressive you were Jalen Bogway and his confidence.
Yeah.
Do you see that same level of confidence for an incoming freshman on the scrimmages over the weekend?
Yeah, I think what I've been impressed with from Bach is that a guy that has played another position, you know, pretty much all of high school, the growth that he's made to learn the details of the position very quickly. So he made strides in the springtime, but I thought he took his game to another level through the summer, and what he's shown in fall camp to where we feel like, you know, he's going to have a role for us in this season, and had a great day out there today. I mean, he's just really starting to hone in and play with anticipation, as opposed to, hey, I just got to get my footwork right and all that. He's starting to, you know, recognize and anticipate. It's good to see.
It's been a leader, Coach, but what you've seen from Tim Keenan in terms of pressure from the pocket also.
Yeah. You know, when I first got here, you know, that was one of the things that Tim and I talked about was, you know, we take pride in this defense creating production in the defensive line room and on the interior as well. I think Tim has taken to that really well. You can tell that he is maximizing value for himself from a pass rush standpoint. He's mindful of it. We try to give run-pass indicators, right, for our players, and then let them call out those run-pass indicators. So I may have called a run-stopping call, right, that can transition into a pass-down rush defense, right? And so they're doing a really good job with some of those communications as well. But Tim's a leader. He does everything right, and he's starting to get rewarded in terms of his production. So exciting to see how that translates to the field. Yeah, great question. So we're doing it with a number of guys, but you know, that's really he's my voice on the field, right? So it's not just getting the call in, but there are certain things that I may want to communicate to him about the situation, right? The understanding of the offense, what they're getting ready to do. You know, honestly, I mean, you could write a book on the headset communication and how different that is from where we were with signaling to where we are now. I think you're going to see all things over the spectrum, right? You're going to see some people that still do all the signaling. You're going to see some people that are going to try to go exclusively to the headset communication. I think there's a fine line there because you know, it cuts off at 15 seconds. And so what happens afterwards when, you know, an offense is going to make a check, you're going to see some offenses that are going to go really fast. And I think that's going to be helpful for us on defense because I can immediately get a call to the core and they can communicate to about 7 or 8 guys immediately. When teams are going fast, you're going to see some teams that wait until under 15 seconds and then they go. So now the defense is back to the normal signaling. So it'll be a cat and mouse game. And I'm really, I'm excited to see, you know, how to navigate that. I want to stay ahead of the curve.
Two questions left.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think, you know, I think Mo Lindquist does a tremendous job from a technical standpoint. He's one of the best teachers that I have seen. I think those guys are very fundamentally sound. Even those young freshmen, they don't look like freshmen out there in terms of what they're doing from a fundamental perspective and their footwork, their hand placement. Very detailed, very organized, and very intentional about their individual time. And I think it's showing up in practice right now. What I'm excited probably to see is some of those younger players are playing with anticipation. You know, defense is inherently reactionary, right? So the offense comes out in a personnel formation, whatever, and we react to whatever those things are. But if you can say under this personnel and that formation on 3rd and 6, right, now it's either going to be this or it's going to be that. Now we can play with anticipation. I think the corners are leaning into that right now.
How's Jihad doing? What have you seen from some of those, you know, both Justins really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, Jihad is such a versatile skill set. I think he came here as an outside linebacker originally and then, you know, made that transition to inside linebacker. That is not an easy transition. I think people just hear the word linebacker and think it's about the same. They're different worlds playing the outside linebacker and inside linebacker position. I think he's really done a great job of understanding the details that it takes in the run fits in the interior, the communication piece to get everybody else lined up as well. I think, you know, Jihad's another guy that could be a green dot type guy for us. And so, you know, what I've been impressed with some of those younger backers is they're, you know, they see a standard of Jihad Campbell and Deonte Lawson. I think Justin Jefferson is really playing at that same level. And so those guys are really pushing every single day. But it's a hard road as a freshman linebacker for us right now. We put a lot on those guys and demand a lot of them. So, you know, it's back and forth every day.
Yeah, I think we had a great scrimmage. Guys were flying around. Defense made plays, offense made plays, and, you know, we were able to get better from it.
How
does the in-helmet communication work? We talked a little bit with Kane Wommack about that. How have you been kind of handling that on the field?
Yeah, it's going pretty well right now. You know, I had it in the spring, so try to get all my difficulties out in the spring, and you know, fall camp is going good.
How does that change things for the signal caller of the defense?
You got to make sure everyone gets the call, because the offense could go tempo, and you know, you got to be able to communicate to everyone so everyone is on the same page so they can execute their job.
How much does it help having worked with, beside Jihad last season, and how does that chemistry kind of going? How much does that help you guys on the field?
Yeah, just want to play for each other. You know, you don't never want to let your brother down. But me and Jihad, you know, ever since he came in, you know, I try to take him under my wing, if you say. And, you know, we just both growing together, and, you know, we're excited for the season.
How much growth have you seen in terms of his knowledge and his ability now to call things and see them?
Yeah, he's elite. You know, he's coming to work every day. He's learning everything he can. He could be a signal caller as well. And, you know, it's great to have two guys in the inside back room that can be a signal caller, because it's easier to communicate to the rest of the guys.
What do you think the biggest strength of the inside linebacker room is?
I think we play fast and we play physical. And you know, now we can play free, and, you know, it just allows us to make plays and, you know, fly around the field.
Jihad, the news just broke this morning about you. I called you Jihad, my bad. Deonte, the news just broke this morning about you and Jihad both being nominated for the Dick Buckets Award for the nation's best linebacker. Can you just give us what does that like mean to you and stuff like that?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's not something I really look into. I mean, the results gonna show at the end of the year, but you know, you just go every day, just try to get better, and, you know, focus on going 1-0 every day.
Last week, Kane Wommack called Justin Jefferson a starter-type player. What have you seen out of Justin Jefferson over the summer, and what do you see about what his contributions will be to this year's defense?
Yeah, Justin making great steps, great strides. You know, it started in camp. You know, he's already fast and, you know, athletic, and he's just flying around. He's able to, you know, process the defense faster so he can play faster, and he's just elite at what he do, and, you know, we're excited for him.
You guys are freshmen. Like, what makes Ryan Williams exciting to watch out there? Like, what type of challenge does he present to the defense?
Yeah, he's Ryan's a playmaker. I mean, you can see that as clear as day. You know, he's a deep threat. You know, his route running is elite, and, you know, for a guy to be that young and, you know, just come in here and, you know, understand the scheme, understand zone, man, you know, it's just a pleasure to see, and especially coming from, you know, where I'm from, it's good to see that too.
Deonte, you've been called the quarterback of the defense. Who have you seen around you kind of step up and been able to lead for you?
Okay, I think Malachi Moore. He's a quarterback of the defense as well, and, you know, we communicate together, and, you know, when you got a guy in the back end that can, you know, make all the calls as well, it's definitely helpful for you.
You're coming from a system, Coach Saban's, that was complex. Obviously, you had to think a lot. There's a lot of checks, adjustments. Kane talks about, you know, wanting to let athletes be athletes running around. How have you seen your role change within this new defense? Do you feel like there's more opportunities to make plays? You don't have to think as much. You can just go out there and be a football player?
Yeah, just what you said. Just go out there, be a football player, fly around. I feel like this defense is made for inside backers, and, you know, that makes me happy. You could just fly around, know your job, and just compete at the highest level.
What have you seen in the other Justin Okoronkwo being so new to high-level football?
Man, yeah, we call him J.O. J.O., he's a great player. He's fun to be around. You know, he works hard every day, and, you know, he's just trying to get better and establish him a role, and, you know, I'm ready to see his future.
Deonte, you've had a trajectory like most people that come in here, coming in as a freshman and working up to where you are now. Do you share that with younger players?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I try to, you know, share my experiences in every way I can. You know, I feel like I'm a guy that can, you know, relate to the freshman or the sophomore. So, you know, I just try to give my input and, you know, just try to help them from my experiences to be better.
Knowing that you don't necessarily come in and start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I try to tell them. Don't worry about, starting. Try to get on special teams and just try to improve every day. It's going to be a roller coaster, but you just gotta keep going, pick your head up the next day, and keep fighting.
Who do you see that's maybe taking to heart what you're saying?
Justin, we call him J.O. He have a bad play. We have this 1-0 mindset. He just flush it and move on to the next play, and that especially playing linebacker, you got to be able to do that and process the next play.
What's your other Mobile teammate, Sterling Dixon? What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, Sterling. Yeah, it's crazy because when I was a senior in high school, he was a freshman, and now it's like the repeat cycle. But yeah, he got to learn. He got some learning to do, and I'm just here to take him up under my wing, tell him everything I know, and hope he takes stride from there.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been asked this already, but Coach Wommack mentioned that you've been the voice for him on defense specifically down on the field. How are you really embracing that role?
I'm just doing it. That's what I do. I feel like I'm a quarterback of the defense, and I got to be able to communicate at the highest level, and be able to do my job and get guys on the same page so we can execute as a defense.
What's your relationship like with Jahad throughout camp, obviously through last year, but seeing him now switch positions and take on that role too? What have you seen from him?
Yeah, we're just growing together. We're just emerging as leaders, and we're just trying to get better every day. It's a pleasure to be beside Jahad. It's fun, and we both enjoy it, and we're excited for the season.
Are we making too big of a deal of the green dot helmet communication?
Say that one more time.
Are we making too much of the green dot helmet communication?
Not really, because it has its challenges. Once we get in the stadium and there's 100,000 fans, it can be challenging. So I don't think I'm making a big deal. It is a big deal because if we're not all on the same page, then that could be a touchdown, explosive play.
There was over 100 or so plays run on the scrimmage over the weekend. The offensive tempo, is that pushing you all on defense?
Yeah. I think our offense has a lot of varieties they've shown us since the spring, and we saw lots of different looks and tempo, and that's just going to prepare us for the season. And so we're just embracing that and getting better every day.